year 2 for professional soccer in the biggest little city. And today a clash of what should be two of the top teams in the Western Conference, Reno 1868 and the Phoenix Rising. Hey everybody, alongside Colin Tabor, I'm Alex Margulies as we welcome you inside Greater Nevada Fields and what is an absolutely gorgeous April day, a perfect situation here for some soccer. Colin, let's dive right into this one. It should be a very fun offensive match. Phoenix and Reno, both of these teams can put the ball in the back of the net. We'll start with the Rising and their key player, Chris Cortez, coming off of a fantastic performance last week against Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Chris Cortez with the perfect hat trick against Oklahoma City Energy, meaning he scored with his left foot, right foot, and head. He was last week's USL Player of the Week, and he's certainly a player to watch today for Phoenix Rising.
On the other side of the pitch, Lindo Mafeka for Reno 1868, the 24-year-old from South Africa, has been great for Reno 1868, but as well, Jerry Van Avik.
Yeah, Jerry Van Avik and Lindo Mafeka, two players who have not been in the starting lineup for Reno 1868 yet, but both very exciting players. Jerry Van Avik, in my opinion, was Orange County's best player last year, and Lindo Mafeka, fans will remember his debut for Reno last year at Phoenix Rising, had a fantastic game where Reno won 4-0.
All right, just a couple minutes away from kickoff here today. Reno and Phoenix coming up. We will have the starting lineups and more when we return. United Soccer League action coming up on My21 TV. A beautiful afternoon here in Reno, Nevada as 1868 gets set to take on the Phoenix Rising, two of the top teams from the Western Conference a year ago, a couple playoff teams, and two clubs that fully expect to be back in playoff position here during the 2018 season. To check at the Battle-Born Brigade, they have shown up in big numbers here this afternoon and cannot wait for what is now the second home match of the season. Let's take a look at today's starting lineups. We'll begin first with the Phoenix Rising. They come in with a win, no losses, and one draw. We mentioned Chris Cortez at the top, but this is a team that really up and down, a lot of guys that can find the back of the net.
Yeah, and it's listed here as a 3-5-2, but my imagination is Patrice Carteron will play the same 4-3-3 that he had so much success with last week against Oklahoma City Energy, where Chris Cortez will play as a lone striker and Jason Johnson and Solomon Asante off of him on the wings.
Yeah, Johnson, the captain, 13 goals last year for Phoenix Rising. Of course, Didier Drogba, the most famous Phoenix Rising player, the 40-year-old striker from the Ivory Coast. He's actually part owner of the team as well. He is not expected to play here today, not listed on their lineup. A lot of fans in Reno hoping to see Drogba, but again, there should still be a lot of firepower in the lineup here today. Let's take a look for Reno 1868 and Ian Russell in his second season with the club. Talked about Jerry Van Avik. You may have noticed on the back of his jersey, it is now Van Wolfgang. He was recently married, and so he will be having a name change here. We saw it on the jersey, but officially still listed on the roster as Van Avik. But again, like Phoenix, Reno with a lot of offensive firepower led by Antoine Openo, the team's leading goal scorer from a season ago.
Yeah, and Antoine Openo really just had a brilliant season last year, has had a good start so far to this season. Fans will notice Kyle Inn making his debut, recent signing as a goalkeeper for Reno 1868, along with Paul Marie, the loanee from San Jose Earthquakes, making his professional debut today.
So a lot to look forward to here this afternoon as Reno and Phoenix will face off for the third time in history. Last season, Reno with their very first professional win. It was in Phoenix, a 4-0 win. The only match played between these two teams here ended up in a 0-0 draw. And in that match last year, we expected a lot of goals, and we ended up with a 0-0 final. But again, we are not necessarily expecting that kind of results here this afternoon as two teams that like to play aggressive and will, I think, sell out at times to try and get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and similar situation to last year. Reno 1868 is looking for their first win. They have up against the Phoenix Rising team that's very dangerous. But last year, that was such a defining moment in Reno 1868's season. After, getting unlucky a couple of times, a couple of losses, they came to Phoenix and really showed what they were made of and set the tempo for the rest of the season. But this Phoenix Rising team is a lot different than it was last year. New signings like Asante, really a brilliant Ghanaian winger, has experience with the Ghana national team, along with Colin Fernandez, a midfielder who played for Tulsa Roughnecks last year that I've been very impressed with so far in his time with Phoenix. So this should be an interesting game.
The referees for this one, Joseph Dickerson, Stephen McConigal, Brandon Chapman, and Sean Stimpson. The Rising in the white and red, Reno 1868 in their home blues, and we are underway here at Greater Nevada Fields. First offensive possession for Reno 1868. And we'll send it down into the corner for Van Ivik. Trying to cross it to the middle, finding Brian Brown. Had a chance there. Brown had his back to him, though. It'll go out of bounds. And possession now for Phoenix.
And right away, we see the ability on the ball of Jerry Van Avik. Really just twisting and turning Mala there to get space for that cross.
Carl Wazinski in goal for the Rising. And as you mentioned, in for Reno 1868, he was just signed on Friday. And obviously a big challenge for him to face such a tough offensive team in Phoenix. When you're in a situation like this and you bring in a new goalkeeper, what does that do to the rest of the team and their mentality of how they have to kind of take care of business on the defensive end and not put too much pressure on the goalkeeper?
Well, yeah, I think you said it exactly right there. I think they're going to be on their toes more than ever to make sure he has a comfortable debut. I mean, really, this is a trial by fire for Kyle Inn here up against such a dangerous attack in Phoenix Rising. I mean, he has a good experience in PDL with Des Moines Menace, but he has not played at this level before, and he hasn't been with the team long, so this should be interesting to see from him.
Here comes Antoine Openo, 12 goals from a season ago. Team missing Dane Kelly this year, but they've got Openo back. Perfect service, and Van Avik drilled it home, but it's saved by Wazinski. But some early action for Reno 1868.
And good awareness there from Brian Brown to see that late run from Van Avik. Phoenix Rising gave Openo a ton of room there. It's like they didn't want to pull off of Brian Brown because they thought he was going to play the through ball. But Openo just kept moving into that space before he was able to put just really an easy ball across the ground that no one challenged. Great early start for Reno so far.
Reno returning to their 4-4-2 diamond look, which we saw each and every game last year. Ian Russell has been tinkering with things here in the early part of the season, but here Another opportunity for Reno as Brian Brown just barely out of his reach as Wazinski dives on it, but Reno putting a lot of pressure on Phoenix, and that's really one of the byproducts of the system, the 4-4-2 diamond. It is a very aggressive offensive set, and when you talk to Ian Russell, the reason why he likes to keep it, he feels like he gets a lot of his dynamic goal scorers all out there and giving them all opportunities to score goals.
Yeah, the formation really allows a lot of numbers into the box. I mean, we saw in that run from Jerry Van Avik, he's listed as the left center mid. So really there's 3 players in front of him, but he was able to make that run in the box. Allows so many people in there, allows movement from guys like Openo to get out wide, to have that space for those inside out runs. And really just it gives a lot of options, a lot of options, especially in the middle. But it puts a lot of work on the fullbacks. James Kiffey and Brent Richards have a lot of space to cover this game.
James Kiffey with the throw-in gives it to Luis Felipe, a familiar name from last year's team. Luis Felipe Fernandez, who came over mid-season. He was signed in the offseason by the San Jose Earthquakes, but they have given him back to Reno for the start of the season.
And something interesting I find about that is Luis Felipe last year always played on the right side of the diamond. And Eric Cavillo, we've seen early on playing as that holding mid that Luis Felipe is on now, but a little switch, and Cavillo finds himself on the right with Luis Felipe in the middle.
Jason Johnson trying to get into the box and deflected wide of the net. But a chance for Phoenix here in the opening minutes as we get a look there at the Battle-Born Brigade. Trying to find Gladson Owako, 27-year-old from Ghana.
Yeah, this battle between Paul Marie and Jason Johnson will be interesting. Jason Johnson, I mean, such an experienced player. Paul Marie in his first professional debut. I mean, a player who's really highly thought of by the San Jose Earthquakes organization. I mean, he was first-round draft pick for them. But it'll be an interesting battle between those two.
Yeah, Paul Marie, born in France, played his college soccer at FIU, Florida International University, which is in Miami. Drafted 12th overall by the Earthquakes. A lot of teams thought maybe the Earthquakes stretched and took Paul Marie a little early in the draft, but they said he was number 4 on their board. They were thrilled to get him at number 12.
Yeah, from what little I've seen of him so far, he seems like a really technical outside back. He's comfortable in possession. He reads the game pretty well. He knows when to get up and down the field. He can get forward, which is so important in this 4-4-2 diamond, like we said, because really it's the outside backs who are providing the width.
Marie on the throw in there. Reno putting it back into the defensive half for Brenton Griffiths, returning defensive player from a season ago, a team that finished 3rd in the Western Conference. A tremendous season for Ian Russell and company as they would finish with 59 points, 17 wins, 7 losses, and 8 draws. A very similar story for Phoenix, 17 wins a season ago, just 1 point behind Reno 1868. Talk to Coach Russell. He feels like this Phoenix team, again, will be a contender in the Western Conference under second-year head coach Patrice Carteron.
Yeah, I think this is a team with USL Cup aspirations, Phoenix Rising. I mean, really such a star-studded lineup when you look compared to other USL teams. I mean, to have a Ghanaian international player in Asante, to have Didier Drogba, really, in my opinion, the greatest African player of all time, along with guys like Lambert, who's a Jamaican international, and Colin Fernandez, who was on the books at Chicago Fire just a year ago. Really just a great team here.
First corner kick of the match. Fernandez will take it. 20-year-old from Illinois, 23 starts a season ago. Serves it into the box, finds a wide opportunity for Asante, deflected away. Thought maybe it caught a hand, but Reno will clear it and try to get a quick counter. Finding Antoine Openo. Couldn't quite outrun it there, and they'll get it back to the keeper, Wazinski.
I can't believe how much power Asante got on that shot. his momentum was going completely the other way from goal there, but here's a great opportunity from Reno on the opposite end.
Opano on Avac, just outside of the box. Tripped up there. Let's take another look. Or excuse me, that was Cavillo.
Yeah, and a good run from Cavillo, that late run into the box after good hold-up play from Opano.
So opening minutes here, 8 minutes down here at Greater Nevada Field in Reno, Nevada. Colin, just kind of your initial impressions of how this game has played out here in the opening minutes.
Well, I think Reno's done an excellent job transitioning so far. They're attacking so quickly with the likes of Opano and Jerry Von Avik, along with Eric Cavillo getting into the box. I'm impressed with how quickly they're getting into the attacking third and how easily, really, they're creating chances. I think we talk so much about Phoenix's attack. Their defense looks a little suspect right now for me. But, I mean, this Phoenix Rising team is also a team that is excellent in transitions, as we saw last week. So Reno will want to make sure they don't want to push too many numbers forward because Phoenix can be lethal on the counter.
Jordan Morrell across the field for Opano. Paul Marie comes up and plays forward. You talked about his ability to move up on the field, and that's something Ian Russell likes to do with his outside backs.
I mean, you look at the outside right back normally for Reno 1868, who's always been Brent Richards. He's a converted forward. Played forward both collegiately for University of Washington and PDL with the Portland Timbers under 23s. So that shows right there how much he values attacking outside backs to provide the width going forward.
Wazinski, 5 appearances last season. He has started each of now the first 3 games in goal here in 2018 for Phoenix. Touch of the head, and Reno will get it back to In, who clears it out back towards midfield.
Really well handled by James Kiffey from a great flick on by Chris Cortez. He's pretty lethal in the air. He can win a lot of headers, and Asante knows that, and he's trying to make that run in behind. But like I said, James Kiffey read that very well. That's something that he's going to want to be wary of as the game goes on because Asante is quick.
Good win there in the midfield for Reno, and now a whistle blown, taking it away, but a good job by Von Wolfgang, as it'll soon be referred to. Still not sure what to call him exactly right now. Von Avac, Von Wolfgang. The jersey says Von Wolfgang. Again, just recently married and going with the name change.
Yeah, we'll probably interchange those, but I know on the USL website he's still listed as Van Avik, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Here he is at midfield again, getting aggressive. Good job there. Lindo Mafeka. And Kiffey will watch that one go out of bounds as Phoenix will get a throw in. There's Lindo. What a great season last year in a Reno 1868 uniform. An electric player from Durban, South Africa. 6 goals, including a hat-trick performance during the season last year.
Yeah, what I'd like to see from Lindo Mafeka this year is to add consistency to his game. There were some games where he was easily the best player on the field. I mean, he has all the ability in the world, but other games where he was almost a passenger. So I'd like to see him add that consistency this year because everybody who's seen him knows how good of a player he is.
In will punch that one away and escorted out by Reno 1868.
And we see that overlapping run from Dia. He's someone who can get up the field just like the Reno 1868 fullbacks and put in a cross. Cavillo will want to make sure to stay tight to Marie so he's not outnumbered 2v1 on that side.
Opano losing his footing. Phoenix keeping it here. Owako giving chase at that one. Popped up and picked up in the air by In. 23-year-old from Wales, Wisconsin. Again, just signed Friday. Last year playing in the PDL for the Des Moines Menace. did get a chance to compete in preseason with the Minnesota United of the MLS. Signed here with JT Marcinowski being called up by the San Jose Earthquakes.
Yeah, and JT Marcinkowski with the excellent save, stoppage time to save the point for Reno against Las Vegas Lights. Really an outstanding save from him.
Marie trying to keep that one alive, but kicks it right to Wazinski. "13 minutes down here at Greater Nevada Field and still no score between 1868 and the Phoenix Rising. Some pressure and a crossing attempt there by Colin Fernandez goes wide. Fernandez not known as being a big goal scorer, but he is definitely a chance creator. A guy that kind of can wreak havoc at times on the pitch, can he?
Yeah, his ability on the ball is fantastic. He's great at picking out a pass. I mean, I believe he's about 85% pass accuracy so far this short in the season, but he's a clever player. I mean, he had a brilliant assist last weekend against Oklahoma City. He's someone I rate really highly in that midfield for Phoenix Rising.
Kyle in with his left foot will put it back towards midfield where Phoenix will regain possession. Brenton Griffiths getting on the loose ball. Marie up to Cavillo. Here's some of those drums from behind the home goal, the Battle-Born Brigade, enjoying this gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Hardly a cloud in the sky. Very different scenario than the last home game that was played here a few weeks ago, where before the match, the crew and front office for Reno 1868 spent hours shoveling in order to make the field playable, and they played in a pounding blizzard.
Yeah, you missed out on one there, Alex. It was an interesting game to be at. I mean, by the end of the second half, there was a good half-inch of snow on the ground. I mean, but credit to the grounds crew for making that field playable, because it was quite a bit of snow that day.
Saw Joe Hill before the match today, and he had a big smile on his face. I imagine the 70-degree temperatures did not deter that smile for the rest of the day. I imagine this would be kind of perfect conditions for the grass all year long, and what is going to be a very daunting situation again for him and his crew to manage not only professional soccer, but as of next Thursday, professional baseball as well, as the Reno Aces will begin their AAA season.
Yeah, it's such a difficult task to do, especially with how many games baseball plays in a year. But Joe Hill and the rest of his staff do an excellent job here.
Headed and dove for by in. Jason Johnson making contact there.
Yeah, Jason Johnson just comes in the back of Paul Marie there. Paul Marie doesn't quite see it coming, gets a little bit of whiplash there, but they'll call the foul, and Reno will build out from here.
Good job by Griffiths to keep that one in play. Gets it over to Paul Marie.
Oh, and a brilliant ball from Paul Marie to find Opino.
Opino keeping possession for 1868. A little touch there between Mafeka and Von Avik. Now Morel comes forward.
That touch from Van Avik to find Opino there was brilliant. He's such an unpredictable player. But here's it, those transitions from Phoenix Rising that we were talking about, but they could not find Jason Johnson there.
little more patience now from Reno as they try to set it up in the defensive end. Jerry Van Avik, the 26-year-old from the Netherlands, gets it forward to Brian Brown. Openo in the box is taken down. Won't get a whistle, though, but that is really the calling card of Antoine Openo, getting into the box and absolutely wrecking havoc. He was quite a pesky player for opposing defenses a season ago.
Yeah, he's so tough to handle because he's elusive with his dribbling. He's pretty quick, and he has a low center of gravity where he can ride off challenges, go the other way, and then maybe get that foul and earn that penalty. He's someone that teams just have so much trouble handling.
Headed in the air by Felipe. Fernandez with a crossing attempt, kept alive for Johnson. And too strong by Cortez.
Yeah, a bit of a nervy situation there from Brenton Griffiths to head it back into danger when he's really under no pressure. Chris Cortez is not the guy you want crossing that ball right there. You want him on the end of him, but Jason Johnson gets his chance, finds a Wako, but easily over In's goal there.
Here's Openo again, getting behind the defense. Poked away, then knocked down from behind, and that will draw a foul. Reno quickly puts it back into play, thinking they could catch Phoenix off guard, and it did not work out. Rising will get it back to their keeper, Wazinski. Reno did have a set piece over there from the corner, but decided to put it in quickly. Phoenix was on top of it. Much like last year when we talked to Ian Russell, he said that there's still a lot of kind of figuring out, some tinkering with this lineup. Of course, there are some guys from the Earthquakes that are here and need to get some very necessary playing time, and a lot of guys that have not necessarily played together too much here in the beginning part of this season. A lot of new faces for this Reno 1868 club, but it's an interesting mix here in year two.
Yeah, you have some of the guys who were so instrumental last year, such as Antoine Openo and Linda Mafeka, along with guys who I think are going to play a bigger role this year, like Brian Brown, who I think really, talk so much about Dane Kelly, but I think Brian Brown is more than a worthy replacement for him. He's already in the books. Along with the partnership of Morel and Brenton Griffiths, but in a lot of new faces. As we see James Kiffey making the tackle here, really a standout player for Sac Republic. We have some Earthquakes guys, Eric Cavillo, who played with New York Cosmos the last 2 years. Even if you look at the Earthquakes players like Luis Felipe, who had such a big role here last year. So, there is a bit of continuity, a little bit of figuring things out. But I think if anyone can get this team to click, it's Ian Russell.
Yeah, we saw that by the time the team got to about the fifth game, Reno was a juggernaut, really unstoppable at times throughout their inaugural season. They would finish with a record 75 goals, led by Golden Boot winner Dane Kelly, who had 18 of those. Kelly moving on in the offseason, first playing professionally in India, and then more recently being signed to a contract in the MLS by the DC United.
Yeah, and I hope he gets a lot of opportunities with DC United. I'd hate to see him just go on loan to Richmond Kickers every week, because I think he's someone who could make an impact in MLS. He's such a potent goal scorer. Give chances to him, he'll put them away. There's no doubt about it. So I really hope he makes a name for himself with DC United rather than just still being a USL player with Richmond Kickers.
Not much else that Dane Kelly can prove in the United Soccer League.
He can always make his most goals record untouchable.
Back down to Paul Marie. Over to Felipe. Yeah,
but Reno calming down things a little bit after attacking so quickly and aggressively early on. They're just trying to control the game a little bit, find their pockets of space.
Get it up to Brian Brown. Some contact as Kiffey tried to bring it out forward. No whistle, and here comes Phoenix on the counterattack.
Oh, that was great awareness by Lambert. He knew he stripped the ball from James Kiffey, the left back, and he immediately made a surging run towards that right side. I mean, great recognition of space there from the Jamaican holding midfielder.
Lambert putting it forward again, this time for Gladson Awako. Like Asante, both from the country of Ghana. Here's Jason Johnson. $13 goals a season ago for Phoenix. That's the most of anyone that they have on the pitch today. Will be interesting if we see any of Billy Forbes in this one. He was a highly skilled goal scorer for San Antonio a season ago. He's been battling injuries and has played only one time in the first 3 matches for the Rising. But as the season goes along, the 27-year-old Billy Forbes likely to be much more part of their offensive formula.
Yeah, I think Billy Forbes is probably one of the most dangerous wingers in this whole league. He's a good dribbler. He's quick. He's strong. He can score goals. He can assist them. I mean, he's someone I was a little terrified about. A little glad. I'm sure Ian Russell was to see him on the bench. But I imagine Billy Forbes will see some time in the second half.
Here's Befeka controlling it in the midfield, going over the top.
And Van Avik beats that offside trap there. Phoenix try to hold their line high, but that late run from Van Avik gives them space in the corner to take them on.
Touches in there for Opano, cleared away by the keeper. Reno trying to fight for it. Fernandez able to get out of trouble, though. And here they come, Solomon Asante.
And this is where Asante's dangerous, with room to run. But poor there from Phoenix Rising. They haven't been quite able to click in their transitions yet.
Whistle blown. Reno takes possession here at the 25th minute. A little bit of a breakdown there by Reno. And again, I think you hit the nail on the head. Fortunate that Phoenix did not do more with that opportunity because they had bodies and they had some of their best goal scorers in position and just had a little bit of a lapse there in passing.
Yeah, and that's the danger, is the counter. When you see guys like Cavillo and Van Avik in the box, you think, well, who's covering in case they lose the ball? And Luis Felipe almost made the tackle to win it high up the field. But, I mean, Phoenix, it fortunately fell to Asante there. But, yeah, Phoenix should be doing more with that chance.
Again, you see Reno setting it up in the defensive half. Felipe sends it wide for Kiffey. "25 minutes down here in downtown Reno. We are still scoreless, 0-0. Second all-time match between these two teams here at Greater Nevada Field, and no goals have ever been scored so far in this matchup between these two teams here in Reno. Now, in Phoenix, it's a whole other story. That was the game that changed really the whole season for Reno 1868, as they would not only beat Phoenix, they would beat them 4-0.
Yeah, and a great hat trick from Dane Kelly. Really early goals, too. I mean, that game was over and done with about 12 minutes in. But like we said, when Phoenix came here, it was a good battle between the two teams, which ended 0-0. Could have gone either way. But I think after that is when Phoenix really started to build momentum going into playoffs. I mean, they had a great playoff push where they couldn't stop winning. And I think Patrice Carteron has had the ability now to build a team in his image. I mean, he really got handed a team from Frank Yallop early on in the season. So, I mean, I think he had a lot of older, slower guys like Luke Rooney that didn't really fit into how he wanted to play. And I think he's really been able in the offseason build a team that he would want. And I've been impressed with them so far early on in this season.
Ball stolen away from Van Avik. 3 white shirts coming quickly. Owako finds some space, but headed out of the box. Jason Johnson gets around Paul Marie. Centered, still in trouble, and in will fall on top of it. Another chance there for Phoenix. Chris Cortez was right there staring in front of the net and could not connect.
Yeah, nervy moment from Reno there. I mean, brilliant play from Jason Johnson. Little drop of the shoulder to make space, big touch. Puts in a low cross to find Cortez, and after a little scramble, I mean, in feels lucky to get that ball in his hands. That's a nervy moment for Reno.
Reno came quickly on the counterattack. Now they'll stop and slow it down. Openo, a little touch there, gets it to Brian Brown. Brown makes a man miss. Brown, left foot, deflected out of bounds. What a touch there, though, by Antoine Openo. He is so good in the middle of the field doing just this. Didn't get to see the pass, but Brown, look at the move here.
Yeah, and Brown just drops DeFont with that little shimmy, and now we have a corner for Reno 1868 here.
Credit to Dewigi Mala, the 24-year-old from the Ivory Coast, with the deflection to knock that one out of bounds. Jerry Van Ivek, the Dutchman, the 26-year-old, in his 3rd game in a Reno 1868 uniform from the corner. Right foot into the box, headed away. Reno keeps possession. There's Openo, gets it, trying to get it back out there to Van Avik. Stolen away by Phoenix.
And now we have a dangerous counter from Asante, who finds Cortez here.
Good clearance by Morrell, racing back from the offensive ends.
An important intervention there from Morrell. Paul Marie got sucked into Cortez, and Jason Johnson was alone there. Morrell was able to get back from that corner kick and clear it out there.
So it'll be a throw-in coming in now from Phoenix as Dubose throws it in. Kiffey pulled down to the ground, whistle blown, and it goes against Phoenix. That'll be 1868 possession here as we move into minute number 31.
Yeah, and a great play there from James Kiffey to earn that foul. Just stays strong, protects the ball, relieves the pressure by getting the foul there.
Kiffey, the 29-year-old from Santa Barbara, great career for Sac Republic. Reno fortunate to sign him late in the preseason. They got him March 17th. Last year he was a second-team All-USL performer.
And I think he played every single minute for Sac Republic. I'm surprised Sac Republic didn't do more to keep him and that he was available, because I thought he was so important to them last year. And 6 assists from left back position for a team that kind of struggled with goals, really.
Kiffey part of their championship run in 2014. Trying to spring Openo on the counterattack, just out of his reach, though, as Wazinski falls on it. But going back to Kiffey, 2014, when Sac Republic won the USL title, he was a starter during that playoff run, had a couple assists during that period. Brings a lot of experience to this Reno back four, which already had a lot of continuity from a season ago.
Look at the speed from Asante there. Jordan Morrell had about 6 yards on him. Asante still got to that ball.
Van Avek using his back to deflect that one. Goes back over to Kevin Lambert. Here's Dia working against Calvillo. A little jostling there, and Calvillo threw him down to the ground. And that's going to set up a deep set-piece opportunity for Phoenix.
Yeah, good play from Dia there. He stands him up, gets Calvillo a little bit flat-footed, and then is able to find that space in behind and knock it around him. Cavillo has no choice but to pull him down, and now Phoenix have a good opportunity here from this free kick. Find guys like Chris Cortez and Kevon Lambert.
They'll put Colin Fernandez on the ball. Cavillo and Opano, you see right there, forming a very small wall. We'll see how Phoenix approaches it here in the 33rd. Fernandez strikes it into the box and headed out of trouble. And cleared this time by Cavillo. Here comes Opano now. Mafeka on the other side of the screen. Trying to find Mafeka, and it's cleared out. Good job by Reno to quickly turn the field, and that is something that they excel at so much.
Especially Antoine Opano. He loves getting that space on the counter to run at people, make them have to commit, then maybe finding the pass or beating them or earning the foul. Thought he released it a little too early there. I think everyone stepped to Mafeka as the passing option instead of stepping to Opano, and Opano could have kept carrying it a little more.
Back to Jordan Morel and Brenton Griffiths. Those two combined for 4 goals, coming from the center back spots last year for 1868. Although Morel mostly playing as an outside back a season ago, moving to center back here with Paul Marie and James Kiffey in the lineup. Cortez letting that one go by, thinking that Awako is coming behind him, never came.
Yeah, Awako and Cortez just weren't on the same page there, but a great run from Dubose from deep to find Cortez in front of the box.
Here's Amadou Dia now. Back to Lambert. Dia crosses it. Headed out, deflected wide as Awako took a strike at it, and a Reno defender is down.
Yeah, Brenton Griffiths has to do better to get the ball out of there. But Jordan Morel takes a shot into the head there. That won't be good for the Reno captain.
Jordan Morel, 25 years old, from London. Huge part of Reno's success a season ago, 28 starts. And I mentioned even from a back four spot with 3 goals a season ago. Good sign to see him now sitting down and quickly getting up to his feet.
He's such a leader of this team. I mean, no surprise with the departure of Jimmy Ockford that he was handed the captain's armband. You constantly see him organizing the defense, marshaling people. I mean, he's really just a leader back there. So it's good to see him up and ready to go to defend this corner kick. Actually, I take that back. He'll have to, because the trainer came on the field, he'll have to come off, and Reno will defend this without their captain and center back.
It'll be Fernandez from the left corner. Right in front of the Battleborn Brigade. Leaves it short. Cleared by Reno 1868. Volleyed back in by Dia, and his shot is too high. And Kyle in, keeping a clean sheet here in the first half. Another look there at the shot that Morel took to the head. And he appears to be okay. Stolen away by Lambert in the midfield. Asante working against Kiffey. Sets a wall over there in the corner. Deflected by Mafeka, and a throw-in coming now for Phoenix here in the 38th minute.
Yeah, Phoenix is having more success now, pressing a little bit higher up the field. They were a little unorganized to start the game, a little too open, but now they're closing those gaps really well, especially in the midfield where Reno's having trouble finding feet to the likes of Lindo Mafeka and Luis Felipe.
In the corner for In, who will dive on top of it. Taking his time before putting it back in play. He's looked comfortable in goal, considering he has only been in Reno for about 72 hours, if that.
Yeah, he's looked comfortable so far. Hasn't had a lot to deal with other than the little scramble involving Jason Johnson and Chris Cortez, but he's looked assured of himself. One important catch earlier in the game.
Brian Brown getting tangled up with Mala, hoping to earn a possession for Reno. Another goal kick from Carl Wazinski. He's conceded 2 goals in his 2 starts this year. Only 6 goals allowed in 5 appearances a season ago.
And I've seen a few times now that Wazinski's gone short with his goal kicks. I'm not sure what the referee called there, but
so we'll do it again.
this time Wazinski pushes everyone up. They're going to look for the second ball here from Cortez. Great feet there from Colin Fernandez.
Paul Maurice stepping up, then it gets it past him. Phoenix driving in, intercepted by Brent Griffiths.
Yeah, Maurice had a little bit of trouble against this tandem of Jason Johnson and Dia here. Isn't quite sure who to step to. They're able to play 2v1 against him and get to the byline to put in these low crosses. But well handled by Brenton Griffiths to read that ball pulled back a little bit.
Luis Felipe wins it in the midfield. Over to Cavillo. Back to Felipe. And Reno hoping to earn a corner there. Not sure who touched it last, and I do believe Reno is going to get this one.
It looks like it's going to be a throw-in.
Not quite a corner. Throw-in goes to Opano. About 5 minutes left. Some stoppage time as well. Colin, what do you want to see from Reno here to finish this first half?
I think they need to get the ball to Jerry Van Avik some more. I mean, they had so much success with him getting the ball, taking people on, but Phoenix has really recognized and neutralized that threat. So, I mean, getting him the space to run at people will be very important to Reno as the game goes on.
Brown was shoved from behind, trying to quickly put it back into play, finding Griffiths, who had darted up from his center back spot, but then whistled dead. And a reset as Reno will have the possession. And a set piece here coming up for Van Avik.
Yeah, might be a little too out of his range, but I've seen people hit him from here. I mean, he might have a crack at it.
Scored 8 goals last year playing for Orange County. 39 goals in his career playing professionally in his home country of the Netherlands, spanning from 2011 to 2016. Still a young guy. He's only 26 years old despite all that pro experience. Takes a shot at it, going for the upper left corner, and too strong as Wazinski will take his time now for a goal kick.
Yeah, and here's Wazinski taking it short here. We see both center backs peel off to either side of the box to give him multiple options.
Paul Marie headed back for Kyle in. Griffiths up to Cavillo. Good pass there, good touch. Brown down chasing it in the corner.
But Reno are able to find some space in the midfield after a frustrating about 15 or so minutes where they couldn't find the feed of Cavillo, Van Avik, or Lindo Mafeka, and they were able to get that ball to Brian Brown beyond the defense. I mean, it's going to be tough with the way Phoenix are organized right now. They might just have to try bypassing a little more, because they a couple of times the center backs tried forcing these passes in that they were cut out because of this Phoenix press. I mean, they know that they want to neutralize the midfield. Paul Marie does a good job receiving higher up the field and getting Brian Brown running at people.
Brown with the left foot goes too high, but a good open look there for Brian Brown.
Yeah, and a great run from Brian Brown. Makes that inside-out run, gets the ball in the corner of the 18, is able to take on DeFont and have a shot, but just over.
I think one good takeaway from the first half, Brian Brown, when he's had opportunities one-on-one or even 1v2, he's been very calm on the ball.
Yeah, and he's someone you expect to be just a typical target man, someone you just lump it to and they'll take it down or head it to somebody, but he's a pretty clever player. He's good with his feet. He's calm on the ball. He'll take people on. He'll find that right pass.
Paul Marie tripped up, won't get a whistle though. Here comes Johnson. Gets away from a couple defenders. Lambert comes racing up from the midfield.
Oh, well handled by Kiffy. A little bit of a heart and mouth moment as Luis Felipe at the edge of the box put a foot out against Jason Johnson, misses the ball, but luckily for Luis Felipe, doesn't make contact with Johnson either. We could have saw a penalty.
Cavillo over to Openo, broken up. Johnson trying to get past Openo, knocks him down, and a whistle will go against Phoenix.
Well done from Openo. He doesn't fall for the little shoulder drop before pushing it forward that Jason Johnson had success with earlier in the game. Is able to battle him, get in front of it, and then earn the foul.
So just a minute of stoppage time added here for the end of the first half. In what could be the third consecutive half played between these two teams without a goal being scored. A little push from behind by Lambert. Mafeka hangs on to it. Reno a couple opportunities early in the half. Phoenix with a couple shots as well, but nobody able to connect here in the opening 45.
Yeah, and it was an electric start from Reno. Really took advantage of how open Phoenix were. A couple good counterattacks. And Phoenix have found themselves to get more organized, neutralize the midfield threat. And they've gotten into the game more as it went on.
And there's the whistle for the end of the first half, and so we will have a scoreless opening part of this match between Reno 1868 and Phoenix. We'll have some halftime features for you. We'll come back after that with a chance to look at some of the first half highlights and get you set for second half action here in downtown Reno.
Hi, we're being joined today by Jake Edwards, president of the USL. Just getting ready to kick off an exciting 2018 season. Jake, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, Jake, the expansion this year has brought a large group of new owners to the USL to complement this. Already very strong base of ownership that we've seen that's really led to the success of the league. Talk about the USL ownership group and what these new folks are bringing.
Many of our owners, I'd say the vast majority of our owners now, have owned and operated sports organizations in multiple different leagues. They bring with them a real understanding of the economics of sport, what's required in terms of an investment level in the facilities, in the community, in all the different.
We're being joined today by Jake Edwards, president of the USL, who's getting ready to kick off an exciting 2018 season. Jake, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, Jake, the expansion this year has brought a large group of new owners to the USL to complement this already very strong base of ownership that we've seen that's really led to the success of the league. Talk about the USL ownership group and what these new folks are bringing.
Many of our owners, I'd say the vast majority of our owners now, have owned and operated sports organizations in multiple different leagues. They bring with them a real understanding of the economics of sport, what's required in terms of an investment level in the facilities, in the community, in all the different programs that our teams run. So for me, it's a privilege to get to work with all of these very experienced businessmen and women on a daily basis, and I'm just constantly thrilled by the commitment and investment they have into their local communities and ultimately into our sport. The new owners that are joining our league now are coming in every year with bigger ambitions. For us, we continue to drive value from a business point of view. The model continues to attract more and more sophisticated owners into the league, and that's something that we believe will have such a positive impact on the future of this league and the new initiatives that we want to embark upon.
Last year we surpassed 2 million in attendance. Talk about what your expectations are for this season and in terms of attendance at live games and just overall awareness of the league.
Yeah, our fans are the lifeblood of this league, as they are for every league. We've seen the support for our clubs grow exponentially. We're already significantly ahead of where we were this time last year on average per club for season tickets. I think it speaks to the excitement. It speaks to what's happening in the local communities. It speaks to all of the things we're trying to do. Building new stadiums, creating more exciting, authentic environments. Attracting better players, having a more competitive and compelling league. I think it's, at least for the league office here, a substantial investment in content production. And infrastructure around the broadcast, around the digital and social. And so we take great pride in growing that area of the business and engaging with the fans from a team point of view and a league point of view.
Hey soccer fans, I'm Courtney Hudson here with Reno 1868 FC, and this is your look around the league. As we close off week 3 of the regular season, the teams in the USL Western Conference have a tight battle with Swope Park Rangers and Sacramento Republic, each with 6 points, and Phoenix, Las Vegas, Fresno, and Orange County following close behind with 4. Here's a look at the games played earlier this week. Orange County got its first 3 points of the season, and Fresno FC getting their first win in franchise history. We're going to take a look at some of the top storylines of this week. Phoenix Rising's Chris Cortez was named USL's Player of the Week after scoring 3 goals to help lead his team to a win over OKC Energy last Saturday. Goalkeeper JT Marcinkowski earned a spot on USL's Team of the Week after recording 4 saves in Rena's 1-1 draw against the Las Vegas Lights. One of the teams here today is a contender for the Western Conference crown, coming off a win over Western Conference favorite OKC Energy. Reno hopes to insert itself back into the conversation should they get the win today. That was your look around the league for this week. Enjoy the second half of the game here at Greater Nevada Field.
All right, back here at Greater Nevada Field, halftime between 1868 and Phoenix Rising. Alongside Colin Tabor, I'm Alex Margulies. Well, as I mentioned, the last time these two teams met, it was here at Greater Nevada Field, and the final was 0-0, and that is the same result that we have here in the first half, as these two teams have been able to feel each other out, and some opportunities on both sides in that first half, Colin.
Yeah, some good plays from both teams. Just that final pass is lacking from both, I think. I think we're going to be in for a better second half. Both these teams try to commit each other forward more and grab that goal.
All right, let's see some of the highlights here in the first half action between these two teams. Reno came out of the gates with, again, some early opportunities. Here's Antoine Opino trying to find Brian Brown or Jerry Van Avik, and it was Van Avik who had come up, but a good save by Wazinski to deflect one there in the opening minutes.
Yeah, and it was a good run from Opino, found that late run from Jerry Van Avik. We talked about the transitions from Reno early on. They attacked quickly and they attacked in numbers, as we see here Eric Cavillo getting his chance.
And for Phoenix on the other side, they were able to get behind Reno's defense a couple of times. A diving stop by Kyle Inn, who is signed just on Friday by the club. A headed attempt there by Colin Fernandez, unable to go. And again, there's a bunch of opportunities for Phoenix as well in that first half, as they were able to get in front of net. And then here again with Brian Brown, he did such a good job when he had space to get opportunities. Unable to finish, though. And really, I think, a clean first half played by both of these two teams. And it'll be interesting to see how the second half action plays out. If you're Reno 1868, Colin, what kind of adjustments do you see Ian Russell making at halftime to maybe get some more opportunities for his goal scorers? I think you want to start seeing more for Antoine Opino, more for Jerry Van Avik, more for Lindo Mafeka. How do you create more opportunities for those guys?
I'd be interested to see if Jerry Van Avik pushes further forward and almost creates a 4-3-3 formation. I don't think Lindo Mafeka has 90 minutes in him yet. I mean, he's coming off of injury. I mean, I don't know. He could very well be up for it. But, I mean, I could see someone like Seth Kasipli coming in and moving into a 4-3-3. So we'll see what goes on as the second half continues.
Talking to Ian Russell before this match, one thing that he had spoken about with his team is just how deep they are. And he feels like really 1 through 18 that there's a lot of quality play. You mentioned Kasipli. Do you expect any other substitutions in the second half?
I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Mark Gonzalez comes in to add some fresh legs later down the stretch. It's tough to say who else. I mean, there's Mo Chow on the bench, who hasn't had an appearance yet for Reno 1868, a player on loan from San Jose Earthquakes, drafted this year from Louisville. It'll be interesting to see who does come on, but I think if there's one player I would bring on, it's Seth Kasipli. His ability on the ball in such a tight midfield, I think he would be important to bring in around the 60th minute mark would be my guess.
Phoenix Rising on the flip side, we mentioned that they've got a really good goal scorer sitting on their bench right now, and Billy Forbes had 10 for San Antonio last year, one of the most disruptive players in the circuit. You expect maybe to see Forbes come off the bench there for Patrice Carteron?
Possibly. Jason Johnson I would say, is Phoenix's best player right now. He's had a lot of success on that left wing for Phoenix Rising, and that would be the obvious replacement the Forbes would come in for. So, I mean, I do expect to see Forbes, but I think that would be discounting how good of a game Jason Johnson has had so far.
Once again, for those of you hoping to get a look at Didier Drogba, the 40-year-old striker from the Ivory Coast, not listed among the 18 on the roster today. He has yet to appear in a game this season. And what is expected to be the final season for Drogba, who will be cemented as one of the all-time greats in the game of soccer.
Yeah, he really will be. I mean, such a fantastic player for Chelsea. I mean, he was the definition of a big game player. There wasn't a final that he didn't score or at least have a gigantic part of. I mean, I'll always remember the 2012 Champions League final, his header against Bayern Munich. Really just such a brilliant player and such a great diplomat for the country of Ivory Coast.
Reno hoping to get some points here at home. A rare home loss to start the season to Swope Park, 4-3, then a draw in Las Vegas last week. So Reno coming in with just 1 point here through the first 2 matches. 14th right now in the Western Conference. Phoenix Rising, they've got a win and a draw on their docket thus far in the second season for Patrice Calderon. No score, 0-0 between Reno 1868 and the Phoenix Rising here in downtown Reno. Colin, an interesting thing I think for me in the first half was seeing the ability of Reno getting the ball down the field and playing that counterattack. Is that something that could really separate who wins and loses this match here today?
I think absolutely. I think getting guys like Antoine Opino, Brian Brown, and Jerry Van Avik running at players is so crucial the way Reno want to play. I mean, it's going to be tough for Phoenix to handle if Opino gets more opportunities to run at people, if Brian Brown gets opportunities at the edge of the box with the ball to his feet, if Jerry Van Avik can keep creating like he was early on in the game. But Phoenix Rising is also very dangerous in transition. Guys like Jason Johnson and Solomon Asante are so quick. And then the aerial ability of Chris Cortez for those knockdowns to the wingers will be important for them in the second half.
Well, I tell you what, you could not have much better weather for some spring soccer in the 775. Sun is out. The fans are enjoying themselves. You saw them there in the fan section, the Battle-Born Brigade, a few seconds ago. And a look at some of the Phoenix Rising players as they get warmed up ahead of second half action, which will get started up here in the next minute or so. Again, a very different look here at Greater Nevada Field than the first home match, which maybe had more feet of snow than fans in the stands because it was just an absolute blizzard here at Greater Nevada Field.
Yeah, but credit to the Battle-Born Brigade. They still came out in force and sang for the whole 90 minutes. Rain or shine or snow, as we saw it. They'll be here. They'll be here supporting their team.
Prediction from you, Colin, does this game stay knotted 0-0?
It's tough to say for me. It's tough to say with the amount of attacking talent on display here. I feel like there has to be a goal, but I mean, both teams quite aren't clicking in the final third, so I mean, that could continue for the next 45 minutes.
I think you are seeing some early season soccer kind of coming into play with Reno, as Coach Russell has said, still trying to kind of figure out the right mix up at the top and who can play where and how and formationally what's going to put his team in the best position to win. And we're going to continue to see a little bit of that play out here in the first part of the season as we break in some new players here on this Reno 1868 roster.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to really have players click early on in the season, especially when people join at different times of preseason. I mean, you would ideally want everyone there first day of preseason, let's get to work, but some late season signings, some guys spent preseason with San Jose Earthquakes, it makes things tough. But as the season progresses, that chemistry will build more and more.
So the two teams will flip sides. Reno ready to go in those home blues. And Phoenix Rising in the whites will now defend in front of the Battle-Born Brigade. And it looks like Ian Russell, to start the second half, will stick with his starting 11. Brian Brown, Antoine Opino, Jerry Van Ivik, Eric Cavillo, Lindo Mafeka, Luis Felipe, James Kiffey, Brenton Griffiths, Jordan Morell, and Paul Marie. It will be Phoenix to put it in play once they get the whistle from our referee, Joseph Dickerson. And a look down the Reno 1868 bench as we are underway here in the second half from Greater Nevada Field. Here's Paul Marie at the top of the screen there, deflecting that one out of play. Or excuse me, that was Van Avik. Early throw-in coming from Amadou Dia, the 24-year-old from France. Had some Major League Soccer time with Montreal and Sporting KC during his career.
Yeah, he was actually a pretty integral part of Sporting Kansas City in his first year as a pro. Now sees himself with Phoenix Rising. Has had a good game. His connection with Jason Johnson has been great.
It appears Billy Forbes has checked in for Phoenix Rising, number 7. See him there in the middle of the box. We had talked about him being a possible substitution at halftime. Phoenix with some numbers here early to start the half. Good breakup there by 1868.
And it looks like Jason Johnson drops into the midfield, and it's Awaka who's out for Billy Forbes. Attacking move there by Patrice Carteron.
Mentioned Forbes, the 27-year-old from Turks and Caicos. He has the ability to be a big-time goal scorer. Here he is out wide, coming back towards the middle now, centering it for Cortez, and it's deflected out of play.
Yeah, this will be a tough test here for Paul Marie. Billy Forbes is such a direct winger. So quick, and look at him just getting on the wrong side of him there.
Knocked down by In. Good save there as Forbes with an early shot on target. Well, and a lot to deal with for this Reno defense now. Asante and Forbes, two guys on opposite ends that have a ton of speed.
Yeah, and that's something that they'll want to do is get Forbes and Asante on the counter. I mean, they're both so quick. They can run at people with the ball, without the ball. It's going to be dangerous in the second half for Reno.
Left-footed strike there from Cavillo. And last touched by Phoenix. It'll be an early corner kick here in the second half as Jerry Van Avik will head down towards the right corner. Headed out of the box by Lambert.
Easily handled by Lambert there. No one else challenges with him.
Paul Marie will set a screen as Opano volleys it back in. Ryan Brown jostling with Dia, who clears it out. Here they come on a quick counterattack. Kiffey with the interception there. Great job to break it up, as Johnson would have had an open look there at goal if he didn't get his foot on it.
Yeah, and it looked like Lindo Mafeka. It must have been a miscommunication because he ducked for that. He ducked that ball instead of challenging it.
Luis Felipe looked like he got caught in the head there. You can tell he's in a lot of pain as he goes down to his back. And we'll take another look here and see what happened. It looked like, oh yeah, Lambert and Felipe knocking heads there, and that does not feel good.
Yeah, no malicious intent there from Lambert, but just catches him on the follow-through on the side of the head. Both of them down on the ground now after that.
One more time, you can see there with Lambert trying to come in and get the head, and both of them took a second for Felipe to have that one kick in. Both are shaken up, but both appear able to continue. They'll walk off towards the side here for a moment.
And now we'll see no holding mids for a moment until they come back in. But it's Reno are going to be the ones that have to defend this.
Colin Fernandez on the ball with his left foot, delivers it into the box, but it's knocked away by Griffiths. And now a throw-in coming up. They'll send Dia over there. He's looking at the corner for Forbes. Being guarded by Paul Marie. They'll throw it over his head to Cortez. Marie will steal it away. Reno trying to advance it, but it goes off of Phoenix. Now a throw in coming. It'll be Marie to handle those duties as Felipe and Lambert return to action.
On a quick throw here from Opano to find Brian Brown. Good intervention there from Lambert.
Lambert, to me, has been one of the most effective players on the pitch for Phoenix. He has been involved on both ends in doing his job there as a holding mid.
Yeah, he's such a physical presence out there and also pretty good on the ball.
Here's Brown, and he just barely misses the corner. Or Antoine Opano, who is there as well. Let's take a look at the replay here. Brown finding a chance at goal here and just barely misses the corner post.
Yeah, and Dia gives him too much space on really Brian Brown's weaker foot, but Brian Brown puts in a great ball. Cross or shot, it doesn't matter. Those are so dangerous for the keeper to handle. They're not sure what's going on either, but Opano follows through, but just barely missing both there.
Brown with 3 goals in 23 appearances last year for Reno, most of which came off the bench.
And Brian Brown's someone who, even when he wasn't scoring, he was making an impact. Because 3 goals for a striker in 23 appearances, like you said, most of them being a substitute, isn't really a standout number. But, I mean, he's someone I always felt made an impact whenever he was playing.
And he did have 5 assists as well. But like you said, there were more contributions from Brown that didn't necessarily show up in the stat sheet.
Yeah, he's someone who I think is going to play a big part of this team this year. I mean, 1 goal already against Swope Park Rangers. His shot, Danny Mazowski scored off the rebound.
Now Forbes with a chance, and he was trying to cross it for Asante, and it was just out of his reach, but a chance on the counter by Phoenix very quickly after Reno had an opportunity on goal.
Yeah, and Forbes a few times has looked dangerous on that left-hand side, able to put good low balls across, but no one's running onto the end of them.
Here's Kyle in, the 23-year-olds. Signed on Friday, yesterday. Now in a Reno 1868 uniform with a new team that he is just starting to get to know.
Yeah, a bit of a whirlwind journey for him. He's not in Des Moines anymore. Up against Phoenix Rising, one of the most dangerous teams in USL.
And again, signed because JT Marcinkowski was called up by the San Jose Earthquakes. Quick throw in goes to Cortez and deflected by Morel. Well, actually, it looked like it didn't catch him at all, and so now just another goal kick upcoming from in. Third game of the season, Reno with 1 point thus far, a draw against Las Vegas last week on the road, and a tightly fought defeat 4-3 against Swope Park here at home to start the season back on March 17th.
Yeah, I mean, a late start last season for Reno as well, so they'll hope to pick up form. I mean, it's still early in the season. This is the 3rd game. They shouldn't even be mentioning the table until the 4th or 5th, but back pre-internet days, I don't think they printed them until then, but now with everything up to the minute, you see that.
Here's DeFont tracking it down in the midfield, looking to advance it forward for Fernandez, but Felipe intervenes for Reno.
And I think Reno are just going to want to try to control more of the game. Phoenix has had a lot of possession in the second half. Reno haven't been able to string too many passes together. They're just going to want to slow things down a little bit and get comfortable on the ball because it's all Phoenix right now.
Here's Solomon Asante, and Kiffey has to step in front of him, deflects it away, but a corner kick now coming for Phoenix Rising. Well, and I think the matchup of trying to contain both Asante and Billy Forbes becomes a much different defensive matchup for Reno here in the second half.
Yeah, they can't play with their high line that they like to play with because I mean there's such a threat of pace down the wings, so they're gonna have to sit back a little more and play on the counter.
Asante trying to get it in for Lambert, popped up in the air. cleared away momentarily, but Phoenix will retain the possession. Tracked down by Amadou Dia.
And even if you are playing on the counter, you still want one player high, someone who can relieve pressure, hold up the ball, allow runners to get through before finding them. And if you don't have that outlet, you're just going to be stuck like we see Reno are right now.
No score, nothing between a couple of Western Conference powers on the third game of the 2018 season. A gorgeous sun-shining afternoon here in downtown Reno. Set piece chance here for Phoenix. Headed by Forbes, but headed out of play. And a goal kick coming up now for Kyle Inn.
Yeah, and a bit of a difficult ball for Billy Forbes to handle. I mean, outswinging away from goal, away from him, he has to manage to get track back and generate power, which is a difficult task to do.
Reno making a substitution here in the 57th minute. Jerry Van Avac is out. Brent Richards has come in.
That's an interesting substitution. It looks like Brent Richards is sliding into right back, and Paul Marie's going into the midfield. It looks like he'll play on the right side of the diamond there. I mean, I imagine Ian Russell feels like Brent Richards will be able to handle the physicality of Billy Forbes a little better. But not a substitution I was expecting.
So Jerry Van Avac at his first start in a Reno 1868 uniform sees his day come to a close a little bit after halftime. He's a player that should be in this system a very successful goal scorer. And Van Avac signing with Reno 1868 with those aspirations in mind.
Yeah, and I think it's going to take a little more time with Van Avac. I mean, he's always played as a winger. He's always played as a wide player. And Reno 1868 don't really have wide players except for outside backs. So it's going to be a different role for him that he'll have to learn. Obviously, he has the skill and ability. There's no questioning that. But the system, he'll have to learn a little bit more. Because I don't think he has the freedom, really, that he's used to.
Good control here from Phoenix. Send it out wide for Asante. Centers it and headed out of trouble by Brenton Griffiths as he was able to cut off a scoring attempt there from Phoenix.
And a great deep ball there from Asante to find Jason Johnson's run. Brenton Griffiths sees the danger and heads it out for a corner.
About 15 minutes in here to the second half. Still nothing here in downtown Reno. Over to the back corner and headed unnecessarily there by Brown. Will keep possession for Phoenix. A throw in now on the opposite side of the field. Once again, it'll be Dia. Throws it into the box. Good intervention there by Kiffey. Can't quite get rid of it now. And a race for the ball. And Inn is able to get to it before Asante.
Huge save there from Kyle Inn. And Asante starts play again early.
Fernandez makes a man miss. He crosses. That one's popped up in the air by Felipe. Still danger. Reno trying to clear it out, and Griffiths.
And Reno,
able to do so.
Reno's just pinned back right now. Can't get it out of their box. Phoenix is piling so much pressure on them. But brilliant feet from Colin Fernandez. Eric Cavillo cannot turn his back to that. Fernandez recognizes it and just cuts past him.
I tell you what, again, Kyle Inn making his first start. That was a challenge there, and he was up to it.
Yeah, really a point-blank save from Asante. He does so well to cover the goal, make himself big, and prevent what looked like a sure goal.
Brent Richards just checking in, and he unloads one from outside the box. A good shot there, deflected away by Wazinski. You mentioned before, Richards, he is a defensive player, but he is a guy that can provide some offensive firepower. He was a forward during his college days at the University of Washington.
And he's such a dependable player for Ian Russell. Getting up and down the field, defensively, offensively. He was so important last year for Reno 1868.
Well, there's been some moments here in the second half where I think both teams feel fortunate to have walked away unscathed. Brown missing narrowly on an attempt early in the half, and then Phoenix a few moments ago. Here's Brian Brown again. Brown in the box, getting tangled up, and did he earn himself a corner?
Oh, well handled by Mala. I thought Brown was through there, but Mala recovers well and is able to get that poke away for a corner kick. But brilliant play from Lindo Mafeka. Really quiet lately, but great ball in to find Brian Brown's run.
Eric Cavillo goes down to the corner now with Van Avek on the bench. With his right foot. And whistled dead.
Looks like a bit of a tussle there between Dia and Marie. Referee will just allow Cavillo to retake this one.
In terms of size, Reno likes to find Brenton Griffiths in spots like this. He is very good in the air. 0-0 here in the 64th minute.
You can't understate Brent Richards' ability in the air as well.
Griffiths gets his head on it, and it is saved away. So Reno was able to find their Jamaican center back and defended by Phoenix. Look how quickly Reno has to retreat now to prevent the counterattack.
And a bit of an acrobatic clearance there from Dia to get it away from danger.
Forbes switching sides now. Lambert back to Forbes.
An important head away from Brent Richards there. It looked like it was over the top of him, but he gets so much air on that.
Here comes Richards down the sideline. Has a feed for Opano. Richards taking another crack at it, and it's knocked away by Fernandez.
Yeah, Brent Richards just tries to put one more ball across instead of having a shot himself. Really, I thought he should have just had a crack at it. Maybe Brown could have gotten a rebound, or maybe Brent Richards just puts him away himself, but he tries one more pass. Complicates things just a little too much, I think, there.
Both teams making one substitution so far. Richards in for Reno, and Forbes, who you see with the ball now, in for Phoenix. Forbes trying to get around a man, and a good defensive stop there from Reno 1868's James Kiffey.
Flag up a little late there on Opano, judged offside. But it looks like Billy Forbes switched wings after that substitution of Brent Richards. He's going to try and target James Kiffey this time.
So I think more and more as this half goes on, you look at that switch by Ian Russell, and I think it really was to tighten down that outside back position with some more experience when you're dealing with two very talented and quick players in Asante as well as Forbes.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Marie is very good on the ball. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's good in possession, makes good decisions. It's just he's not blessed with the physical capabilities that guys like Jason Johnson and Billy Forbes are. And I think Brent Richards is just a little more equipped to handle that. So, I mean, it's still Paul Marie can show himself on the side of the diamond here, and Brent Richards can kind of shore up the back line a little bit.
Colin Fernandez sends it wide. Full touch pass. Marie challenging there. And Marie get it away. Richards able to clear it back to him. So good job helping there coming from that outside diamond spot.
Yeah, and that might be another reason for that tactical shift, is because Dia and whoever the left winger has been between Asante, Forbes, and Jason Johnson have been double teaming the right back. I mean, 2v1s, overlapping runs from Dia. So now Paul Marie is covering a little more ground. He's covering that overlap, and it's almost at times like they're playing with two right backs, which could be useful with how much Dia is getting forward. It looks like we have a substitution. Lindo Mafeka will be coming out for Gaia Bend.
Abend, part of a championship team last year with Louisville. One of the big free agent off-season signings by Ian Russell. Here comes Luis Felipe. Barreling down midfield, trying to get it over to the corner and knocked down by Asante. But a whistle blown here, that's going to be a yellow.
And it looks like Gaia Bend sliding into this holding midfield role. Luis Felipe is pushing a little bit further forward.
Here's a look here. Is pretty obvious that Asante just reached down and knocked it down purposefully. It was not incidental contact there.
Yeah, clear yellow card from Asante. He has no reason to argue there. The ball's far away from his body. Movement of the hand after the fact. Clear as day yellow for me.
Here's Cavillo, just 20 years old, from Palmdale, California, signed back in January by the Earthquakes, here as one of many players on loan in this contest. Cavillo gets it into the box, headed away. Abend. Brown will race it down. Another whistle, and now it's a yellow against Reno 1868.
Yeah, this Reno 1868 midfield, speaking of Eric Cavillo, features two former NASL shortlist Young Player of the Year. So two of the young talents to come out of NASL in the recent couple of years. Luis Felipe with Fort Lauderdale Strikers won second place for Young Player of the Year in 2016. And now Eric Cavillo, who won second place for Young Player of the Year with New York Cosmos last year.
Abend was cited for that yellow card. Abend coming all the way to the biggest little city from Israel. 27-year-olds. Big part of that midfield unit in that title winning season for Louisville.
Yeah, and I think what Gaia Bend offers is that ability that you know he will always be available. You can give him the ball, he'll make the right decision with it. And he's so active in possession. He's so active. Oh, and I spoke too soon there as Gaia Bend gives away possession, but Jason Johnson looks like takes out Luis Felipe, and referee call the foul there.
It's been a rough physical day for Luis Felipe. Oh, another shot to the head. Earlier, if you remember, it was Felipe who made contact with the head of Kevin Lambert. Seems to be holding together all right, though, as he gets up here. As we move into the 71st minute, still scoreless here between Reno and Phoenix. Openo keeps it in play down the sideline, trying to find Brian Brown. And what a mistake there by Wazinski.
Under no pressure, Wazinski just gives a poor pass back to Mala. And now Reno can push all their lines up. They're seemingly not being in the half at all, really, other than a couple Brian Brown chances off the break. Now they can push everyone forward.
See if Reno can take advantage of that miscue. Antoine Openo, the throw in. Brown gives it right back to him now, out to Kiffey. Kiffey being challenged and that ball taken away.
Oh, great intervention from Luis Felipe. It looked like Phoenix were flying on that counterattack after Billy Forbes strips the ball from James Kiffey. Luis Felipe comes up huge there.
Credit, though, to Billy Forbes with the takeaway there, as Reno's unable to take advantage of that miscue from Wazinski.
Yeah, Billy Forbes is someone who can really bully outside backs. He's so physically impressive. I mean, he's strong, he's quick, has a low center of gravity. Someone who's just tough to deal with.
Here's Forbes on the offensive end. Trying to get around Kiffey. Forbes centers. Open chance. Back heel. No. And a save from Kyle Inn. And you can see the palms going into the face of Chris Cortez, who knew he just wasted a huge opportunity.
Man, a poor decision there from Chris Cortez. Billy Forbes does so well to get the better of Kiffey. Puts a great ball across. And Cortez, instead of laying it off to his options of Asante or Jason Johnson, just elects to have the back heel and puts no power behind it.
Oh, that did not look good. Another rough collision for Reno 1868. This time it's Brian Brown. And just shoulder checked from behind there.
Yeah, Mala has no intention of going for the ball there. Just goes into the back of Brian Brown as Brown goes up for the ball. Not surprised to see referee pull out the yellow card there.
So 2 yellows here in the second half for Phoenix. And what is turning out to be a very physical game between these two teams. Reno 1868 will make a substitution now. Brian Brown comes out, and Mo Chow will make his Reno 1868 debut. The Lexington, Kentucky native checks in here for the final 16 minutes of regulation plus.
And Mo Chow, similar build to Brian Brown, strong striker who can hold up play.
Cavillo will strike himself, and that one well past the net. Reno getting a good set piece chance there. Unable to convert, and we will stay scoreless.
And Ian Russell making his third change with 15 minutes to go. He's going to be hoping that no injuries happen at this point.
Richards came in earlier for Reno 1868. Then it was Benz, and then finally Chow. With Mafeka, Van Eyvik, as well as Brown checking out.
Yeah, and I think with Mafeka and Van Eyvik both coming back from injury, they're maybe not quite 90 minutes ready. So, I mean, not surprising to see them both pulled. Ooh, and a clever turn there from Mo Chow. He's able to get his body between in a quick little turn. Earns a foul.
Cavillo advancing it for Richards. Nice little touch there. Chow, right foot strike and popped in the air. And now a whistle blown and an interference. But wow, what a stop there by Wazinski.
And what a run by Mo Chow. I mean, a little bit of a poor layoff to Eric Cavillo. Cavillo handles it well and just chips it into Chow's run. Chow composes himself and tries to finish the ball, but a huge save there by Wazinski. Follow through, it looks like Chow just undercuts Wazinski a bit, and Wazinski will take this. But a huge save there from the Phoenix Rising goalkeeper after really Mo Chow's only been on the field for what, 2 minutes? Gets the best chance of the day other than the Asante one.
Well, and some good ball movement too before that by both Richards and Cavillo. Brenton Griffiths was hoping to prevent a corner. He will not be able to, and a corner kick now coming for Solomon Asante. Popped up by Lambert and out of play. But you can see the size advantage that Kevin Lambert has on just about everybody. You can see the hair popped up in the air, but he is a big midfielder for this Phoenix team.
Yeah, and even if the hair does add a couple inches, he's pretty big to begin with.
Another chance at it. And this time it's headed wide. Again, they got Lambert in position. He's the one they were targeting, and he is beside himself that he was unable to finish.
Second opportunity there from corners for Lambert. Puts it just wide. He's going to want to put that on target next time. And like we said, such a size advantage there from Lambert. So strong in the air.
Kyle Inn able to keep this clean sheet as we move into the 79th minute. Some pressure here from Cavillo.
Well handled by Dia, though.
Gets it back to Wazinski. Touch passes back and forth with Duigi Mala. Mala sends it deep into the offensive zone. Taken away at the midfield, but now back towards Phoenix's way.
And a huge intervention there from DeFont. Eric Cavillo almost finds Chow with that quick third-man run. He was going to be through on goal.
They're trying to find Asante there, but too far, and Reno now a chance to set something up. Forbes keeping it in play, gets past Kiffey, and Morel has to jump up. Forbes thinking about throwing it in, then we'll defer now. As we get down to the final 10 minutes of regulation here. And both teams hungry for goal. Headed away by Morel. Job by Cavillo to get that ball knocked away.
Oh, and a clever flick there from Paul Marie, but well handled by Phoenix.
Here they come on the attack again. Asante, who's so elusive, battling against 3 Reno defenders, and now earns himself a whistle.
And the dangerous Asante, you see how quick he gets up after stumbling, is able to get to the ball before Brent Richards there and earns the foul.
Another substitution, Evan Waldrop. You can see him right there, number 6. Not sure who he replaced, but he is in, one of the center backs on this team.
Playing more as a holding midfielder today, though.
See what Phoenix can do with this here. Headed just wide of the net.
Oh, and a great near post run from Jason Johnson. Does well to redirect that header, but just wide of In's post.
Well, both teams have been very flirty, with a goal being scored here in the second half, but no one has been able to break the ice.
Yeah, and I mean the saves from Wazinski and In, keeping this game scoreless. 2 great chances, one from Asante, one from Chow, moments after coming on the field.
Collision there between Chow and DeFont. And DeFont is slow to get up. Been a lot of painful collisions in this match today.
Yeah, a lot of 50-50 balls that have ended in some kind of hit to the head. DeFont is able to get up there.
Wazinski comes up from goal to serve this one back into play. Waldrop earns a whistle.
Yeah, and Luis Felipe just clips Waldrop there in the aftermath after he plays the pass. A little bit needless because Reno were pressing him pretty well. We're able to win that ball, but that late challenge will give Phoenix a free kick here.
Once again, it'll be Solomon Asante, 28-year-old from Ghana. Very experienced player that has made 17 appearances for his home country's national team. He's got 2 goals in as many games this year. Not a bad ball there, too strong though, as he was trying to find Forbes for that near post. And another goal kick now coming for Kyle In. A lot of substitutions made on both sides here in this second half, and Reno without some of their most dynamic offensive players. We'll see how they approach the final roughly 5 minutes of regulation, and then what we imagine will be a few minutes of stoppage. Forbes has that one picked by Morel, and that was a great defensive stop.
Yeah, well done from Jordan Morel, and now Reno can try to relieve pressure, try to get the ball further up the field.
Chow trying to advance it. Openo coming up. He can't get it. And escaping away is DeFont. And now a whistle as Felipe knocks a man from behind.
And Openo so close to winning that ball right back after a bit of a poor pass to give away possession. Just slips on the grass a little bit there.
In the absence of Brown, Van Avik, and Mafeka, what does that change Reno's mentality here in the final minutes? I mean, are they fighting right now to try and and get a draw considering where things are at, or are they kind of sitting back and maybe countering? Where do you expect to see their strategy here in the final minutes?
I don't think they're going to go into a full park the bus mode, meaning sit everyone back and don't commit any numbers forward. They are definitely trying to sit back and release players on the counter. I mean, we saw Mo Chow be dangerous earlier. I mean, they're going to hope to find open nose runs to maybe put a cross in for Mo Chow is my guess. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of late runs from the midfield, though. It looks like it's just the two of them. That real absence of an attacking mid. I mean, Luis Felipe is playing there now, but really he's almost sitting next to Gaia Bend.
Here's Asante again being disruptive. Richards putting some pressure there.
Oh, great feat from Lambert to get away from Cavillo's challenge. We can't find anyone with that ball.
Can somebody find the back of the net here in the final minutes? Still 0-0 as we go down to minute number 88 in this match. Chow able to get away, crosses the fields. Ben puts it in the air. Paul Marie tripped up.
Oh, good turn from Paul Marie to earn this foul. He's looked more comfortable since coming into the midfield.
Started as the team's right back, but as you mentioned, moved into the midfield when Brent Richards came on early in this second half. They'll give it to Eric Cavillo, the 20-year-old on loan from the Earthquakes. And Phoenix able to get ahead on that one, but Reno will get a corner kick now.
Cavillo steps up to take this. This might be Reno's last real opportunity. I mean, we're going to have stoppage time, but this is their chance to get numbers into the box and maybe get something out of this.
Cavillo here in the 89th minute of a scoreless contest between 1868 and Phoenix. Here it comes. Headed away.
Oh, and a good near post run from Brent Richards. Just a little too high from him there.
Good ball, gets it back into the box.
Chow just has a bit of a tussle there with Dubose.
So Phoenix able to escape trouble there as we move now to the final minute of regulation play. We'll see what kind of stoppage they add as Wazinski will take his time. Richards able to get to that loose ball.
Well handled by Richards there. Instead of hoofing it up, it's able to dribble out of pressure and find the pass.
Paul Marie the throw in. And 2 minutes of stoppage time added here at Greater Nevada Fields.
It's not often you see 2 minutes at the end of the second half. Not a lot of time for either team to grab that winning goal.
Paul Marie hoping to earn his team a corner there, but escorted out of bounds by Tuigi Mala. And again, time will be milked by Wazinski. Will we see one more chance at it here before the end of this match? Phoenix a chance in the box here. Asante getting away from trouble and a takedown to the box. And a penalty earned here in stoppage time.
And we see that change of pace from Asante. Baits in James Kiffey and then quickly evades him after good work from Billy Forbes there. But James Kiffey's real late with his challenge, and that's not what you want to do at the end of the game. Huge opportunity here for Phoenix to grab that last-minute winner.
And what a pressure-filled moment for Kyle Inn, signed yesterday by this Reno 1868 team. And he will try and defend a penalty kick to keep this a draw. Jason Johnson on the ball. And he puts it in the back of the net. Excuse me, it was Asante. Asante delivers in stoppage time, and Phoenix grabs a late 1-0 advantage.
And this is heartbreaking for Reno 1868. Last minute penalty. Asante steps up, sends Kyle in the wrong way, and buries it for surely 3 points for Phoenix.
What an incredibly frustrating finish here for Reno 1868. Seconds away from seeing this match end. And Asante, who has been disruptive all game, able to earn a penalty.
Yeah, and that's 3 goals and 3 games for the Ghanaian. Great start to his USL career, Solomon Asante, to grab the last-minute winner here.
So a big finish for Phoenix. They get their second win of the year, and Reno 1868, who had turned this place into a fortress in their opening season last year, has now dropped both of their home contests to start the season. 1-0 the final score on the late winner from Solomon Asante. Phoenix now 2 wins, no losses, and a draw. And Reno will fall to no wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. They will stay towards the bottom of the Western Conference. We'll take a quick break, come back, and wrap this one up from Greater Nevada Field. Phoenix steals 3 points here at Greater Nevada Field. Back with more in a moment. This is Reno 1868 Soccer on My21 TV. Okay. Okay, great. All right, welcome back here inside Greater Nevada Field. The fans of the Battle-Born Brigade will be frustrated with this result as Phoenix, with a stunner late, they win 1-0 on a stoppage-time penalty kick goal from Solomon Asante. Colin, you had mentioned now 3 goals and 3 starts. The 28-year-old from Ghana is off to a fantastic start as Phoenix picks up 3 huge road points, and Nevada continues to be winless here in their home building after 3 matches. Let's take a look at the highlights from this one here. And Reno 1868 came out in the second half with a big opportunity, and Brian Brown just barely missed getting 1868 on the board.
Yeah, and good possible cross, possible shot there from Brian Brown. And we see this run from Van Avik. Good save there from Wazinski.
Yeah, Wazinski was up to the challenge in this one today, a couple big saves. Then Billy Forbes had a shot as he checked in the second half, and a great save by Kyle Inn. But then in stoppage time, after a takedown on James Kiffey taking down Solomon Asante, delivers into the corner of the net, and Phoenix, in a virtual walk-off, comes in and gets 3 points at Greater Nevada Field. Well, we talked about it. A lot of things have to be sorted out here in the early part of the season. Certainly Reno not pleased coming away with only 1 point in their first 3 matches, considering 2 of those 3 were here at home. But we saw this last year. It was a team that did take 4, 5, 6 games to click, and once they did, Reno became one of the top teams in the United Soccer League. And it's going to take some time for all of this to gel and for this team to figure out with this new mix of players how it's all going to play out.
Yeah, and I think it's important also to have a little bit of perspective. These 2 losses are against Swope Park Rangers, who made it to the USL final last year, 2-time defending Western champions, and Phoenix Rising, who I would be surprised if they were not the USL Western Conference champion this year. I mean, they both brilliant teams, 2 of the best in the Western Conference, along with Real Monarchs. So I mean, these aren't easy teams that they've played against so far, and it's early in the season. Reno has plenty of time to turn this around. There is no need to panic, to say, oh, this is second season syndrome, sophomore slump kind of thing. They have plenty of time. It's a long season. 3 games doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and speaking of time, a lot of time off before the next match. Saturday, April the 14th, we'll be back here at Greater Nevada Field, a 6:45 kick against the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. We will, of course, have all the action for you right here on My21 TV, every home game telecast all season long. I want to thank our great production crew for all their hard work. Here today for Colin Tabor, I'm Alex Margulies saying so long from downtown Reno. Phoenix, a stunning late stoppage time winner, 1-0, the final score.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
Thank you, guys.
Deal.